Dude, holy shit. Those are freaking big ass footprints. That is
So I don't know if this is what I did, is I stepped right here. Because look at this one. Look at that one.
There's another one right there.
Look at how
And
small
there's another one
But look.
right there. You ready?
There is a connection between the paranormal, UFOs, and the myths of ancient history. The clues are scattered across the landscape from a forbidden past, maybe even in your own backyard. There is a connection between the true nature of our reality, consciousness, and the unexplained. I'm Carl the Crusher. Let's explore the unknown. To interrupt here and bring us back up to speed, because there's a whole incident that occurred in the middle of the night that also was not caught on camera, that happened, that was probably the most mind-blowing part of all this, that I edited out, I didn't film, and for some reason when we were up there on the mountainside, it was so bizarre and so traumatizing in the middle of filming a documentary about Bigfoot that it didn't make any sense. And those of us that witnessed what happened, we basically looked at each other and we agreed that we would keep it a secret. But I want to tell you guys exactly what happened right now. That night when we were done basically chasing this thing down the dirt road towards the kill site that had happened the year before, Justin and I ran after this thing down the dirt road, and we could hear it and see the silhouette of this giant thing, this shadow figure creature, as it was gliding through the trees. And I say that very specifically because it stopped making noise, and it was like hovering smooth, like this big floating black mass, it almost looked like a giant black garbage bag that was just like made of black smoke or something, floating through the trees. And then it floated across the road, which in my mind, I was trying to comprehend, like, how far are the strides on this Bigfoot? Because in my mind, it was still, had to be a Sasquatch, all of this playing out and what we had just heard. When this thing had come up through the trees and stood there in the campfire light, it was like 9 feet tall. You could see the shoulders, the neck, and the head, like the silhouette of this thing. And heard another one up the hill to the left of us. And then as soon as I went over and tried to get the camera out of Rose's tent and I started opening the zipper, it's like these things turned and left and started to run away. And so we grabbed the camera and Justin and I ran after it. And we saw this thing gliding through the trees, and it crossed the road in front of us, probably 50 yards ahead of us in the dark, and it glided across the road and went right to the spot where earlier, like the year before, Justin had the incident where he shot at them. And this thing went across the road and then disappeared into the bushes. And at that moment, that's when it occurred to me that we didn't know where the second one was, or if there was more of them, and we had run off alone into the dark. And so I grabbed Justin. My knees were literally shaking. My knees were knocking. I was so scared. And we decided at that moment to stop and turn around and go back and wake everybody up. Another key thing that I didn't film that was kind of edited out is the fact that right before we went to bed, Nadia, she actually had a meditation bowl, and she got it out and used the meditation bowl and was doing like singing and playing some music and stuff like that. And I almost wonder now if that had more of an effect than even the tree knocking and the Bigfoot calls that we were doing. So I think that's something important to consider. The craziest part is that after we went and woke everybody up, half of the group that was with us got freaked out by everything that was going on, and they got in their vehicles and they left and they drove off the mountain and we're done. It's like, we're not staying here anymore. And they drove off the mountain and left. And there was 3 of us, me and Ro and Sean, and we went back down to the site where Justin and I had ran with the camera and the flashlight and everything earlier. And we were, we get down to this spot to the same spot, and we're standing there looking around, seeing if we can hear anything. And then from the same spot where this thing had ran and went across the road and glided across the road, this giant shadow figure thing, and into the bushes, the three of us were standing there. And then from over there where the bushes were, where this thing had gone, we see this ball of light. And it's like, I don't know how to describe it. It's like this giant ball of light, like the size of a helicopter, but it's not a helicopter. It's just this glowing ball, like a giant beach ball in the sky. And it's this white light, and it's floating across the sky. And we all stop talking and we look up at it. And this thing floats across above the trees over us, and we're looking at it. And Sean's like, what is that? Is that a helicopter? And I'm like, no, it's not making any noise. Like, and it's, the light isn't right. And Rose like, well, what is that? Is that a satellite? And I was like, it's way too low. It's way too big. It's just like this huge, it looked like a beach ball floating across the sky, like glowing, like this white glowing ping pong ball, this big thing. And it floated across above us from the direction where this thing had gone just earlier. And it floats across and goes over the mountain, and then like disappears over the edge of the over the mountain to the east of us. And we all just stood there and watched this thing. And then Ro looked at me and Sean, and he says, we're up here making a Bigfoot documentary. If we start talking about UFOs or aliens, nobody's going to believe us. We have to focus on the subject. And we all agreed that we would never tell that part of the story. And we didn't until you heard it right now. But that whole experience, seeing the shadow thing come up to the edge of the trees, this 9-foot tall head and shoulders, like this creature, giant boogeyman thing looking thing standing in the trees, chasing after it in the dark, watching this huge thing just glide through the forest and then across the road and disappear, and then seeing this ball of light come up from there and float over us. That whole thing basically blew my mind so much that it was like, I was afraid after this whole trip to even go back up into the mountains for a good year. I was like scared to go out in the woods, and it took all my courage to even not get in my car and leave when everybody else was. But we stayed up there a couple more days, and we have more footage of collecting the evidence. So let's get back to it.
I was standing right here. The big one came through like right up here, right in this area, in between the cars and the trees. Then we heard a pop. Where are you thinking, Justin? Let me see if it matches up with like where I heard it. Yeah. That's true. Yeah.
Probably some really good ones right here, because this is where he broke the twig.
Right.
And then the others are going to be, we know where the others are.
There could be some monster ones down there, because that was so loud.
Yeah, I think those will be the 20th.
That looks like a paw, but that looks like a heel over there.
So I'll step on that same ground. Nothing. So you're telling me it stood right here?
In the freaking open. There's like no
fucking
cover.
shit.
There's no cover except for these little saplings. It walked right up.
I mean, those are tracks.
Where?
These ones right here.
They're pretty hard to see.
See, here's a heel.
I don't want to step on anything.
We got like 30 tracks. 12, is that better? I don't know.
I don't know how many we got.
We're not counting. We're just like trying to see what we can see.
One's got a toe.
Oh, the one up there has got all the toes.
All the toes on one of them.
Okay,
so that's like a
on two
heel.
of them.
I don't want
On
to
two
know
of
what
them.
you got. Good
Just
claw.
kind of stay there.
So this is all of
The one that snapped was right here. It wasn't even behind anything.
It was out in the open.
It was out in the open, dude.
I don't like that.
I don't like that either. You wait till, Sean, wait till you see the track up there.
Up there?
It's like textbook, 100%. It's like, it looks like it's at least like 18 inches long.
Holy
And you see all the toes, and where it slid in the dirt.
It looks like it's this long when you look at it. We're gonna take it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that was Carl.
Dude, there's a. We threw some apples out.
Oh, okay.
Last night. And,
Oh,
I threw those out last night, trying to let them know that we're not angry at them.
good to see him.
Well, we got a plan for that. Justin, there's no way, even jumping with 2 feet, that you could make that sound that was coming through the trees, man.
Just checking how solid the ground is. And,
Yeah.
And that too.
So the question is do you think it came up like through this opening gap in the trees, or right up through that?
The sound was right here.
Right there.
I know that I saw them right here. Or
It.
cut that part out.
I'm not rolling. I'm not rolling.
No saw in there. Just
Yeah.
we heard something. See, that's small. I mean, that's as human as we get. Look at that.
That's tiny.
Yeah, but bears don't have.
Well, you can see it, the shape of it right there.
Yeah, it looks like a little human trap.
It looks like a little one. It's like the heel and the toes. We need flags, you're right. We need markers.
I won't be able to find half of these again. Like after we walk through, when people talk about hunting and tracking, like some of it actually like isn't bullshit and matters. After we all walk through there, we won't be able to find half of them.
well, we know where the castable ones are.
There's like a little fire pit right there.
Where's our stand? Standing tent.
It was closer. I thought it was more close.
That was like
What?
halfway in between.
Watch where you step. It's like out here somewhere. For real.
Well, they're going to lead straight down the road.
They both came out like right out in the open, man. Not even afraid at all.
I think it was about right here. There should be a super good track somewhere in here.
There's poop. Found scat right here. What?
Got like 4 pretty good ones down there,
Prints?
just across the road.
I can't tell. This looks like probably bear. This is for real, man. You're not joking around with this. This happened. You and I shared this
there.
experience. We were there.
What's that look like?
That looks like bear.
Oh yeah.
It's old, huh?
Yeah.
Bear.
Had my hopes up high.
I don't know. I'm not an expert on the poop stuff, so I'll defer to you on that. This is nuts, dude. It's so exciting. Totally validating.
Is this the kind of thing where you're calling an expert? Like
I don't know. That's the whole thing.
40 with toes, like good, decent. Some are just heels. They lead all the way around to our camp, pretty much in a circle, like
You
you're
can
watching us. And now, and they lead across the road and towards the meadow. We haven't even explored that at all, and we haven't explored where they came from either.
Yeah, we haven't taken it all the way down. I have a feeling it goes right there, dude. I mean, you can
They
tell.
have to take a sharp turn one way to not.
Yeah. You can tell it goes right there.
More than likely.
So weird.
It's
'Kay.
super hard not to. I mean, we lost the track several times, but we kind of knew where they were going because we knew where we heard the sounds from.
That is officially plastered. That was messy as hell, but it's done.
That's awesome, dude.
Now we can't freaking touch it for like
It's giving
Let's give it like,
hour, whatever.
oh, like an hour or two. Yeah. That was a messy job.
Yeah.
Everybody's kind of taking a nap. I came up here, I had to get my camera and everything, but that's it. Those are the tracks. There's the plaster. After I poured this plaster cast, I'm kind of embarrassed to admit I walked clear down in that meadow for whatever reason, went out into the opening, sat down with my back to a tree and just kind of had a meltdown, because for me this has been a lot to take in. I'll probably wrap my head around it later, but it's pretty unreal. I had no idea coming into this that all of this was going to happen. I mean, I feel like in the last 24 hours we had like a Class B sighting, where one walked up like 30 yards away from us in the camp. Didn't see it, but definitely heard bipedal massive footsteps, and we chased after it. There's a lot behind that, and the mentality going. I was terrified. I was absolutely terrified. I thought there was a point where I thought that I could definitely die. I could get killed, and not that it was like threatening me or anything. It was just like I couldn't see, and this thing was obviously huge, and I'm like running after it with a flashlight. It was ridiculous, but and then the sun comes up, like after everything settles down, the sun comes up, and we find these footprints literally stalking us, watching us and observing us from a strategic position all the way around our camp. It's absolutely mind-boggling. And I cast the print, and it just kind of like, I've had about 3 hours of sleep in the last 3 days, because every time I get ready to go to bed, it's just more just unbelievable crazy stuff keeps coming up, just like mind-blowing. I'm never going to be the same. I'm never going to come home from this the same. This is real. This is real stuff. 100% real. These I honestly don't care. I would take a polygraph right now. No joke. I would take a polygraph about everything that happened last night. When I'm mentally like ready to sort it all out in my head, I'll tell like everything in detail. And these guys down there will all confirm the same thing. But I am like overly convinced, almost more than I'm comfortable at this point, that these things are real. Oh, I gotta stop filming here. Look at this. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Carter, you move this, Dave.
Boom, just flat.
Yeah.
Exactly.
This is just like a little clump stuck on there. Look at the uniformity of the foot all the way up, square, blocky. And then you got these toes gripping. Look at that. You can tell it like where it was digging in to get traction with its toes. Fifteen and a half to 16 from here get you here. That's a big freaking foot. So there's our camp over there. David and I walked down here. This is actually the shooting spot right here where Justin stood, and right next to that tree right there is where the adult Sasquatch was coming up, walking towards him, and he took the shot, and then it took off to the right, ran down the hill and kind of up over the hill, and then there's like tons of bushes, and then the two juveniles came out of the tree line here, straight out of the trees, and came down, and we're running around, and this is where the whole back and forth, them chattering to each other, all took place. So now that it's in daytime and in light of last night, and we know that they're here, we know that there's things still here in this area. They didn't like relocate. If they did, it's not a big deal for them to walk over to where we are and check us out. So we're gonna go down and see where it all went down. You want to?
Do this.
Tell you what, it's nervous. I'm a lot more nervous about this stuff after last night, but it's a pretty big adventure. How do you not keep pushing forward at this point? How do you not, like, once you're all in, you're all in. You go for it at this point. That looks like female bear poop to me. But I'm not real experienced when it comes to that kind of stuff. Really, for all we know, their nest or wherever they're staying could be right back there. They could be right in there right now, or right over the hill. I mean, who knows? We know that they're here. I mean, that's without a doubt. When they circled and stalked us in our camp last night. I didn't bring my monopod. So if we have any long range shots, it might be kind of shaky. It's a totally different experience coming down here when you know for a fact that these things exist. They're not like some mythical creature. We're not talking about, I'm no longer talking about probabilities that they could be real. I mean, it's just as real as it gets. They circled the camp. One of them circled our camp last night. We got footprints off of that. One walked up. I mean, it sounded like the crunching, like if you watch Lord of the Rings, it sounds crazy. But like Lord of the Rings, when the character Treebeard is walking, and it's like, like big, heavy footfall. Yeah, it was real. So it was standing right here. I'm standing right. It was coming up right here where I'm standing right now when he took the shot. Potentially, I mean, there could be some bone fragments just from the bullet impact, like anywhere here on the ground. But I mean, that's like 2 years ago. Who knows? Shot came from there, and apparently it took off. Boom, this way. It's pretty intense to be down here where it all happened. It's even more intense to come down here after dark. Look how dense that tree line is. I mean, they could be sitting right back up in there. You wouldn't even see them. The adult apparently crashed through these bushes. That's where they heard it crash through the bushes. But then it went, oh, I know. But then they said they saw it go up over that ridge, and it's just like a cliff off of that edge. I kind of want to go look at that first, and then maybe we'll go up this hill. See what's up on the other side of these trees, if anything. Man, I get like a spooky feeling like there could be anything back in these bushes. I have no idea what kind of bushes they even are. If you do, let me know. I kind of want to see if there's like a natural game trail going through the middle. There's no way I'm getting through that. Really good hiding spot if you had to though. Crawl back in there, lay down. There's definitely a game trail going around all this shrubbery.
Look at the trail going. There's like a patch of dirt there that might be where it goes up.
Right there,
Yeah,
in between those trees. Let's go look. I don't think Roe came this way. I don't see any of his footprints. There's definitely a game trail going along here. I don't see any Bigfoot tracks at all. There's water running down through here in all these bushes. You can see it. So they do have access to water. This is like ideal. We've seen tons of deer moving through this area. Tons of vegetation.
Well, they probably come down here to drink. That's what that game trail is about, right?
Right.
And you can come from the other side too. Cut in.
Lots of edible greens and everything. Really good cover. I don't know. That game trail goes right up over the ridge, and apparently that's where the adult one that Justin shot ran and bailed over that they couldn't find.
Oh, better go.
Wow. Ouch. This is the cliff where the adult one ran head first over, where he shot the juvenile. No wonder it rolled downhill into his boots, huh? Look how steep that is. Wow. So you're talking the bones could be anywhere down this canyon, the body. There's no way you would recover it.
So
Could be 2 miles away down there.
it's the drop off down there. I think is the one that he's saying that there's no way. Like if things washed out,
Yeah.
you'd never get back up.
There's a whole creek washout. So that adult one could have ran head first boom, over this ridge. And so when they came over here looking for it, apparently the juvenile ones were running around and climbing and running around this whole hillside
While they were down.
there. Wow. I don't want to go down there, that's for dang sure. That looks really rough terrain to try and get through.
Down this way it would be alright, but I don't see.
If there's the body though, it's probably washed. It could be a mile or two downstream. Oh, after the winter runoff. And that creek is running full speed. Now it's just like trickling. Look at all this vast openness, man. When you come here and you actually see the location, and you realize
everything that he's talked about.
the people that have a problem with the caliber of the gun that he was using, like obviously it didn't do the job. It didn't work. He shot the adult and it made it this far and ran off that ridge and head first went down there, and they went down there and who knows how far it made it. It could have ran clear down there before it finally keeled over. I guess Justin would know and could probably show us where he got the sample that he did get. It's interesting to be here and actually see it. There's a lot of like what looks like bear activity here, looking for grubs and things. I don't know. These rocks are all, there's several of them all over here that are all lifted uphill and lifted like that, like something's lifting them up and then sniffing around and digging for worms and things. And then there's all of this poop. There's more scat right there. That looks like bear to me. But all across this whole hillside here, nothing but stuff like that. Rocks flipped up uphill. There's like a whole indentation with like big round rocks and sticks and crap piled up. But that just all looks natural to me. I don't know. Okay, just for frame of reference, our camp is just right up there. The shooting happened right up there. It ran over here, went over the ridge right there, and now we're just coming along, following along the creek, looking for game trails or footprints down in the mud. There's definitely a game trail coming through right here. I haven't seen any footprints. But they've got water. That was one of my doubts, was like, of this area. I was like, we're way up here. There's no ponds, there's no rivers, nothing. But I mean, here's fresh water all over right here. It's really beautiful. It really is. Well, you can see for yourself. All of this that we're doing right now is obviously just guessing. We're just going out and we're observing everything. We're allowing everything to be looked at, everything possible. But there's a track. I don't know what this could be. It doesn't look like a regular footprint. And it goes, there's one here, boom, and then boom. So it goes boom, 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 like down to the creek. Doom, doom.
Right, left, right.
Right, left, right. Like either something was hopping like in a zigzag back and forth, or something was kind of walking on two legs. I don't know. But this is all like really soft dirt, so if we find any tracks. There's another one. Like halfway stepped on the rock. Let's see what we find. So here's this big downfall tree, and you can tell there's oil. Make sure there's no more. Let's not get hyper focused on the one hair, on the one hairs. You can tell where animals have been climbing over and going under this naturally. And there's oil everywhere, all over this. What? There's hair, and it's the same color and length as Justin reported from his samples. There's lots of it down in there, look. Like from climbing over. Could be deer, but it looks awfully long. Look over here, there's like tons of rub. Game trail going right through there. It could be deer. I mean, it looks like deer hopping over, snagging their fur, but we'll collect it and see.
Let's go get Nadia.
Where? Yeah, dude. Where's these footprints?
I just see one track. It's not very defined. It could be anything.
There's poop like, dude. There's poop like this everywhere. Piles of this all over the place.
Yeah.
There's tons of it on the hill over there, and there's all these rocks upturned like things are digging for grubs. I mean, that's typical bear behavior, but
Right.
whatever was walking away from us last night.
More than what we were seeing up there, though.
That looks like the bear scat from yesterday.
Yeah.
Right.
But bear, if theoretically, two large omnivores in the area would be Sasquatch and bear,
Right.
and they're going to have very similar diets.
Right.
And being omnivores,
Right.
and opportunistic eaters, we're assuming their scat could be very similar.
Yeah, and
I agree.
Like, 'cause, I mean, we saw probably.
But all I know is what Justin and I were chasing after down the road. Well, and you too, Ro. At one point, by the time we got here, came through here, and you could hear it crunch, crunch, crunch. It was bipedal all the way. The sound of it. I mean, it was undeniably huge and walking on 2 feet. I mean, we've had so many footprints up here. It's like not even funny, like circling around our camp. I don't see the tracks here. I don't know. I'm not sure. Something had to have come through here, though. There's got to be footprints somewhere. tree is huge. I'm probably 20 feet up right now off the ground. Wow. This is where it all went down, folks, and this is where it's all still going down. Maybe even more tonight, who knows? Carved my name there. See if you can find it. It's at the top of this huge fallen tree. So I was mistaken. It's not clear over that big drop. That is where the adult ended up going. But what? Yeah, no, it's okay. Right over there in that little opening in front of those tall trees is where he shot the younger one that rolled down the hill onto his boots on that steep hill right there, and then he tossed the body into the manzanita bushes right there. The problem is that this whole area floods out. It's been 2 years now, and this whole area covers with snow. And then in the spring thaw, there might be some bones still lodged in there somewhere, at least from the juvenile or the baby or whatever, the child. And I don't know, but the river, the water, the winter runoff could have easily just washed it like way downhill. There's no way of knowing unless we go in there and look.